Okay, so for my World at War paper, I did Rosie's at work during World War II. The way World War II is taught today is soldiers on the front lines using many types of weapons and equipment saving America from Hitler. Unfortunately, no one ever learns who was fighting the war back home, making the munitions, tanks, airplanes, and ships. Rosie the Riveter was the biggest campaign pointed towards getting women to get out and help during shortages of men working on the assembly lines. There were many companies that were hiring women who brought out just to hire women at this time. Companies like GM, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, they also turned their factories into ways of making these munitions, airplanes, and so on. For example, Ford and General Motors made over 297,000 aircraft, 2 million trucks, 86,000 tanks, and these all came from Ford and General Motors. The Willow Bomber Plant was another one from Ford, the biggest foot in the war for airplane wise was the B 24 bomber. Aviation experts said that making one bomber per hour was impossible and that it couldn't be done. Rosie's working at the Willow Bomber Plant proved them wrong. They were able to make a B 24 bomber per hour at the Willow Bomber Plant, and it was called the greatest manufacturing plant the world had ever seen. Rosie's wanted to do this new type of work because most of them had some sort of family in the military overseas fighting for our country. They wanted to be a part of the war and maybe help in any way they could in a way that felt that they were helping their husbands, family members out while they were overseas fighting, risking their lives. Rosie's helped push out some of the best equipment used by the military, like bombers, tanks, jeeps, and ammunition that was used all throughout the war by many soldiers. The campaign made by Norman Rockwell was a huge success, in my opinion, because it brought our country back together, back home in factories and assembly lines, getting rid of the stereotypes of women needing to be in the house taking care of everything. This country would not have been the same if we wouldn't have had working Rosies fighting the war on whether we needed another bomber or another jeep to go out and fight on the front lines. World War II needs to be taught with the fact of women, not only men, were part of this war, making all the machinery and supplies used by our military. Working Rosies were the backbone of this country during the war, fighting off shortages of supplies and also keeping a good home while taking care of the kids. That was my presentation. Thank you.